It is.
How?
Cannonball.
Yeah, but what, a weapon against pools?
I mean, if I get rolling down a hill pretty fast.
That's true of just about anybody.
Yeah, but I'm extra round, so if I get going, yeah. Anything in my way is fucked, unless it's steaming it into the ground.
Yeah, your kind of damage is like, oh shit, he needs to go to a hospital. Whereas if it's like a little kid and you throw them down the hill and they're rolling like a ball, then they smack into something, you're just like, ha ha! TikTok, here we come. Oh, marmalade. So yeah, Masami will join if she can. She could join, right? She could just ditch all that immediately if she really wanted to. I question her dedication to sparkle motion.
Sparkle motion.
That's your Double Dummy Day Donnie Darko quote.
Ah.
Oh boy. Hello everybody, welcome to Church of Chonkwij podcast. My name is Dr. Yep. Yeah, we had a fun time. Omega and I had some fun talking about his Draw Steel character when you hopped off last night, Zero. So Omega,
yeah.
where did you land on that Hakan that you were making?
I didn't fully flesh it out, but the concept is so the Hakan have this interesting ancestry trait called Doomsight, where so basically the Hakan are kind of like a semi-giant, kind of Goliath-y, think like, bigger than average for human kind of race. They made a deal with a god, a trickster god, to hopefully be able to see the future. But the only future that they were granted, the wish was granted, but the only future that they can see is their own death. And not every one of them has the vision, but if you do have the vision, you're basically like considered honor bound to, pursue that death and see it to its conclusion. So I then had the fun thought of, well, there's this other ancestry in the game, which is revenants. Now, revenants are undead, and in Draw Steel, you can just choose to be an undead hero. Like, you have a character concept, you want him to be undead? That's cool. But one of the things about being a revenant is that you choose which one of the other ancestries you were before you became a revenant. So, if I'm a Hakan revenant, then that means I've seen my death. I then went through that death, and then I've been risen as a revenant, which means as a Hakan, I've become free from my Doomsight destiny. And like, that's just a really interesting fucking character concept to think about, I feel like. That's all. It was just that concept that I really was like, damn, that's going to be cool. And I'm going to make him a censor, kind of like a paladin cleric type. And he is basically going to be, among other things, like his backstory would be that he counseled Hakan, who have had their Doomsight, and how they can go, how they can best prepare and pursue it. So, like, yeah, it's just kind of cool. I was like, that's a really cool fucking lore that they have built into this world. And I think they did a pretty good job of making some interesting shit. Sorry, that was all a little disjointed. Hopefully that made sense.
An undead priest. I mean, you must be a beautiful genius to have come up with that. Huh?
I don't get it.
Anything?
What?
Oh.
Sorry.
I was hoping to get a little bit of credit there. That's all right. I'm good. I'm fine.
What is that a reference to?
Yes.
Because we were talking. You're like, I want to be an undead, and I was just like, make him a priest so that he's deathly allergic to holy water, but he can make holy water.
Oh yeah, that was an interesting little wrinkle in there.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, I like among other things, I like the race name, the Hakaan. Hakaan. That's a reference that only I am going to make, and maybe that I am going to get, and maybe Masami will get.
The lore doesn't go too super deep into the Hakan, like, and what their society and whatnot is like, but the lore does say that it is, to say the least, uncommon to see Hakan among human society, and if you end up seeing multiple Hakan among human society, that generally means something calamitous is going to happen, because the only reason you would be seeing them is because they are out to pursue their doom site. So, yeah, it's kind of cool. They got some sort of isolated, like they're, I guess they're kind of like Goliath tribes are in the Forgotten Realms, like in the D&D home setting, just kind of like not necessarily nomadic and not even necessarily like a simple society, but they're just very isolated and probably up in the mountains or whatnot, or some badlands that humans generally don't go to.
Does the source material give a physical description of Hakan? Have any concept of what they look like? Yeah, do they have scales, or are they rock people?
There is artwork of it. If you check my Discord, there's the artwork in there.
Yep. Ancestries, where is it? There they are. Yeah, they're a little. I mean, she has gray skin tone.
Don't mention it.
So let's see.
Big feet.
Here's the official lore. Descended from a tribe of giants in Upul Venagar, the original Hakan tribe made a bargain with Holkatja, the Venagar trickster god. They traded some of their gigantic size and strength for the ability to see the future. But Holkatja betrayed them, and the only future they're allowed to see is the moment and nature of their own death. These visions are never of some mundane tragedy. No Hakan ever received a vision of dying from choking on a grape. The doom sight is always momentous and always dramatic. It can happen at any moment. The doom sight can happen at any moment, and it does not come for all or even most Hakan, but when it comes, it is considered an act of overwhelming hubris to ignore it. Trying to escape the doom sight means a painful, tragic death and cursing your family to live with shame. For this reason, the only Hakan the average human meets is one trying to fulfill their doom. So the human superstition that the arrival or one or more Hakan in human lands is a sign of great forces acting in the world, auspicious times, literally true. In dark times, many Hakan experience the doom sight and leave their communities to venture out into the mundane world in search of their destiny. And your size is large instead of medium, like humans and dwarves and elves.
And a big boy. Oh, Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah, you get an extra point of force movement anytime you force move a creature or object. Just one of your ancestral traits.
So we are gearing up here for...
Can't die, by the way.
Oh, unless it has... Yeah, right, unless it has to do with Doomsight. I remember reading that. But if it does... Oh, there's some out, though. Like, if the DM allows it, then you can trade your doomed status for something else, in which case, at the end of the battle, you're just, like, immediately dead.
Well, so, if you are,
Downed,
like, working with the
Rhino
director,
style.
you can... Yeah, working with the director, you can predetermine an encounter in which you die. When that encounter begins, you become doomed. While doomed, you lose the Undaunted benefit, which is your benefit that says you can't be weakened. Additionally, when your stamina equals the negative of your winded value, you turn to rubble instead of dying. You are unaware of your surroundings. After 12 hours, you regain stamina equal to your recovery value. So basically, if it's not your doom site event, if you quote unquote die, you just turn to rubble, and you don't actually die.
It's an interesting mechanic.
But then when you're in your doom fight, you lose that. But then you automatically get your get tier 3 results on all of your test resistance rolls.
Right.
Don't die, no matter how low your stamina rolls, and then you die immediately at the end of the encounter.
Right. Okay.
Then there's the but then there's the asterisk. If you don't predetermine your death encounter, you can choose to become doomed while you are dying with the director's approval. Doing so should be reserved for encounters in which you are dying as a result of suitable heroism, such as making a last stand against a boss or saving civilians, or when the consequences of your actions have finally caught up to you, not because you're playing a one-shot and have nothing to lose, Hakarl. It's a fun little inside reference to somebody there at NCDM. But yeah.
Nice.
So, somehow my character will have died and then be like gone through whatever their doom event was, and then they somehow got risen as a revenant.
Yeah. I like it. Alright, so... Anyway, yeah, tons of that will be going on. As we're gearing up to play a Draw Steel campaign. Module.
Yeah, let's just go start with a one-shot, then we can take it from there to see if we want to do the adventure. Yeah, there's a one-shot and an adventure. The one-shot is, I've read through it, it's, some introductory stuff, and then you get to do some skill tests and whatnot, and you get to try out some of your character abilities, and then there's a combat, and then there's a couple other, potential combats versus things that you can do. There's an introduction to negotiation in there. So it's a good one-shot that kind of covers all the bases. Also, we haven't really talked about negotiation yet, but that's a whole fun kettle of fish on its own that is really interesting when you get into it. But yeah, the one-shot's got a taste of all of that stuff, and then it's very easy to sort of roll the one-shot into the adventure if you would like to continue on to further sessions, just want to keep rolling it. Or, of course, you could just start doing whatever free-balling campaign you wanted to.
So... Yeah, okay, so... The content drought is over. A whole bunch of stuff has started up here. Starting with something that I think is a little strange, but actually kind of wholesome. In real life, I've done a little bit of work with the FDA, and so there's this company behind the mental health action shooter envisions a health insurance-funded golden age for gaming, and it just got FDA clearance to treat stress tests. The idea behind this is basically that this guy, Ryan Douglas, envisions treating stress basically with a shooter, first-person shooter, third-person, whatever, doesn't matter. Maybe even with a headset. Jesus fucking Christ, Zero. What are you murdering? Oh, everything.
Everything. Yep.
When it says here that it gets FDA clearance, this is... What it reads to me is... So the FDA never gives anybody approval to do anything. The FDA just says, we have no further questions. And then you can go forward. Regarding what the FDA has questions for. If you have a brand new product and you make a claim like this product will lower your blood pressure, that's a medical claim. You're saying that something happens when you do this. So if you haven't already consulted with the FDA, they send you a letter and they say, we want to see all your clinical trials that have led you to come to this conclusion. You have 6 months to get all of that to us, and if you haven't provided it by then, and you're still doing this, then we are taking you to court. Or if you give us all this and we don't agree with you, we are going to ask you to stop saying it, and if you don't, we'll take you to court. Well, this guy, the article here, which is again a gaming article, says, quote, received FDA clearance for over-the-counter treatments for the reduction of stress as an adjunctive treatment for high blood pressure. To me, that means this guy has done clinical trials. He's been at this for years, and he has gathered a sufficient amount of research to satisfy the FDA into being able to make the claim that this can reduce stress as an adjunctive treatment for high blood pressure. So that's kind of exciting.
Well, it also leads to, this notion that you could be recommended by a doctor,
prescribed, yeah,
to play a certain amount of a certain type of video game. And that could come with your health insurance covering the costs of a gaming console or a subscription to a gaming service or whatever it might be. And
wouldn't that be nuts if you could get a prescription for an Xbox?
Well, like, one of the ideas, it's kind of funny, but one of the driving forces behind the idea is like, hey, healthcare is like a multi-billion-dollar industry. What if they paid for video games? What if we could get health insurance to pay for video games? So the way they got to do that is to prove that there's a medical benefit to playing video games.
Escapism makes me feel less shitty. I'm like, okay. Oh, man. But yeah, hey, if this works... Oh, the other thing that is important to mention here is it's not just playing the video game, which is a shooter. It's also coupled with a breathing exercise, which is pretty easy. And this game calls it the mildly difficult task of aiming. Oh yeah, into the mildly demanding task of shooting accurately. The fuck are you calling mildly demanding? I can't shoot for fucking shit. That's what stresses me out. Yeah, so this might not be for me. It's not going to be for everybody, but, whatever. This is an interesting... This is a twist on the gaming industry that I just did not see this one coming. So, good on ya. Yeah, the article goes on to say, Deepwell's FDA clearance currently allows the company SDK to be used for products indicated for stress reduction and as a supplementary treatment for hypertension alongside medication. So the company is also working on biofeedback systems. And Douglas has also said that after more clinical work, he wants to target anxiety and depression. And also said in a press release that Deepwell may pursue treatments for pain, PTSD, epilepsy, sleep disorders, immune disorders, Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. Immune disorders, I'm surprised to read here. That is definitely not... as far as I know, immune disorders don't have a psychological component. Do they?
I don't know.
Pretty sure they don't. I think that's a biological thing.
Yeah, that sounds a little interesting, but
Cheyenne, stay.
Zero, is there a character in this game called Big Dick Johnson?
Nope. I don't think so.
Is that Fallout 4?
No.
Okay, then it's probably this game. Nobody's got a dick that big. Not even Big Dick Johnson. He had a huge dick, hence the name. Who the fuck starts a conversation like that? I just sat down.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So anyway, that's cool.
You dead? Oh, come on.
What'd she ever do to you? What'd she ever do to you?
He exists.
Oh, you're going full murder hobo? I think you got a splinter in your left hand.
Maybe.
It's all the grenades. Alright, and I'm not sure how much the two of you have been playing Diablo. Diablo.
I mean,
much
I'll hop in occasionally.
There are 2 articles here. This first one is probably the one that we'll spend the time on. Diablo 4 may have peaked because players are now dealing literally infinite damage in the PTR server, which, Whirlwind Barb has figured out a build to do near infinite damage.
no, like literally infinite damage. It showed up on the screen, like the infinity symbol came up.
These oh yeah, you're right. The infinity symbol is there. Why is that in the game?
Like,
Why is the infinity symbol part of the damage calculation?
that's how much they broke it.
That's like somebody must have put that there when they were programming this. Like, if number exceeds how many commas, then just fuck it, say infinity.
Yeah, they put the number in the article. They put down the number of how many digits it would be before however many bits that size integer would actually be.
Okay, bear with
And
me
it was
here.
a lot of commas.
This is million, this is billion, this is trillion, this is quadrillion, this is quintillion, this is sextillion, this is septillion, this is octillion, this is nointillion, this is decatillion, and I don't know what 11. I don't know what 11 is.
I think it's
that's a lot.
Yeah. I think it starts with a U.
Yes, you're right. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So
So of course it was a barbarian. What
oh
else would
yeah,
it be?
fuck yeah!
They always break the game.
Barb. Whirlwind Barb is amazing. Always has been. Good for Whirlwind Barb to get this.
But see, the whirlwind barb always has something, and it's basically always broken in some way or another. Well, no, the whirlwind isn't always broken. Something with the barb is always broken. Whirlwind is always at least good. Now
Whirlwind's
whirlwind is hilariously broken.
Right now, when you take Whirlwind and you add something to it like Rend, then you break it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the good stuff.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Zero, buy a stick of gum and then shoot him in the head.
You said buy a stick of gum?
Has he got? Oh, he's got bubble. Yeah, fuck yeah. There you go. Attaboy.
Another satisfied customer. Take it easy.
Goodbye. Excuse me while I stand here and I eat literally 57 pounds of MREs in 5 seconds, and then I blow your head off.
I think I'll use the 357 Magnum. Yeah, it'll do.
It's like, what? What are you doing? Your 357 Magnum sucks. please, while I reload, hold still. Why are you running? Attaboy. Jesus.
That's
He took a
He
lot
took
of
a lot
abuse.
to die.
yeah.
Yeah.
You just tank that.
I don't know if you're playing this game right.
No, I'm 100% not playing this game right, and that's okay.
There's no right way to play this game.
Incorrect.
That's what makes it what it is.
But you know what? There is a correct way to play a game. The correct way to play Diablo is to microtransactions. Blizzard reveals that players have spent over $1 billion on microtransactions since Diablo 4 released. Way to go, you fucking tools.
Did the same thing with Diablo Immortal. That game made $1 billion too.
At least that was a mobile game. You expect people to... You expect pieces of shit to play mobile games. Sorry, I know you play
at least, hey, I didn't spend a dime on it though.
That's true.
At least though, that $1 billion that they did get out of Diablo 4, at least that, not a bit of it was somebody paying for power. That's all it was in Immortal, is pay for power. At least in Diablo 4, that $1 billion is cosmetic. So you know what? Good for them.
So,
As far as I'm concerned, they duped a bunch of people out of a lot of money.
They
So
did.
$1 billion is like the total actual. If I remember reading it correctly, the $1 billion was total game sales, the whole nine. 150 million of that billion was cosmetics. Unless I read the article 100% wrong, which is entirely possible.
I'll be honest, I just thought it was saying that they made $1 billion of microtransactions, but whatever. Still,
Yeah.
good for them.
a
So
fool and his
I guess it
money.
is in the blog. Or, no, sorry, we're getting this from the senior project manager of Diablo 4. Harrison Froschke? Yeah, senior product manager for Disgust. And he put this in a blog post? Diablo 4 has generated more than $1 billion in revenue since its release, including approximately $150 million from in-game microtransactions. Well, that's not quite as sensational as what I wanted to put on our highly publicized podcast that billions of people tweet at us over. Nuts.
Fell victim to the clickbait.
I did. I am the
But
dumb.
Still, it's worth talking about that they made $1 billion on Diablo 4. That's a fucking successful game.
$150 million in microtransactions. Now, because I called Linus a Diablo simp, he's going to come at me. He's just going to be like, see, it's not $1 billion, it's $150 million. That's chump change. I was like, yes,
I mean,
you're right. You're right, future Linus.
It doesn't change the fact.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I don't think he would argue that.
Didn't he pay like $600 for a Lilith statue?
I don't think we
Excuse
ever
me.
actually talked him into it.
Let me rephrase that. Didn't I peer pressure him into buying a Lilith statue for $600 and he posted it in Chonkwij?
Aha, it crashed.
Oh yeah, there we go. That's your first Fallout 76 crash. Great job.
How modded have you made your game?
Fallout New Vegas, not at all.
Okay.
However, I'm opening up Fallout 4, and we're about ready to find out just how modded that game is.
Oh, you gotta go back to Fallout 76. Did you not save it all?
Oh no, I didn't save it all in New Vegas.
Oh, so you'd have to do all that again.
Yeah,
I understand.
And I played 76 for all of an hour and a half and got bored.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Fallout 76 is different than Fallout New Vegas. And Fallout 4. Yeah, Fallout 76 was just, yeah, whatever. It's over and done with. Nobody talks about Fallout 76 anymore. It's just like nobody's talking about the Borderlands movie. Everybody's forgot about. Oh, yeah.
Such an epic flop.
It really was. I read the interview with the director, whose name I'm not going to be able to remember right now, even though I loved him in Inglourious Bastards, Eli Roth. He was pretty open about how he wasn't thinking about, like, I'm making a video game movie. It's based off of a property. It's based off of an existing world with existing characters that have driven the games to be wildly popular. I'm not interested in recreating those characters. I'm interested in who are the best actors. And the best actors that he got was Cate Blanchett, no argument, real great actor. Jamie Lee Curtis, and next down on that line was Kevin Hart. And that's when things just started to go downhill. Unfortunately now, whenever I see a movie that stars Jack Black or The Rock, I'm just gonna about face, and good luck to you.
You don't want to see the Minecraft movie?
Goodbye. Oh, fuck no. Jesus Christ. Talk about wrong. We are not the target audience for that. 9-year-olds.
No, absolutely not.
9-year-olds are the target audience for the Minecraft movie, and it will probably do very well. Jesus Christ, it finally happened. You know, there's that rumor in Hollywood where every star has to, like, be embarrassed and do, like, one movie where they wear a dress or some shit so that it's like a hazing ritual or something. This is a conspiracy theory. This is not, as far as I know, this is not actually real, even though it does happen. I think it's finally happened to Jason Momoa, because he's the guy from the Daddy Chill meme. Daddy Chill. What the hell is even that? That's Jason Momoa in Minecraft. Oh.
Oh, Jason Momoa. How far you've fallen.
Well, I don't know. Is this better or worse than Aquaman?
I don't know. Haven't seen it. Not planning on seeing it.
Oh, you never saw Aquaman?
Oh, sorry. The first Aquaman, yes, but that was just because somebody else paid for the ticket.
My favorite. Oh, Omega, you need to see Aquaman. Everybody should see Aquaman so that they can see Grandma Defoe, Willem Dafoe as kind grandma. Everybody should see that. It's the best part of the movie.
It does sound delightful, but I don't watch superhero movies.
That's fine. Yeah,
that's completely understandable.
Yeah, honestly, you're not missing anything.
Wow, Fallout 4 just crashed.
Oof.
You're playing a bunch of Bethesda games. What do you fucking expect here?
Okay, well, we're switching to WoW.
Oh, Jesus! I'm sorry, Zero. That's not what I intended.
Bethesda games truly are better on console.
Yeah.
It's just being honest.
Oh, speaking of consoles, I don't have to throw this up here, but yeah, the PS5 Pro. PS5 Pro is coming out. It's got a $700 price tag, and somebody told me that $700 does not include an optical drive.
It does not. It also does not include a vertical stand.
Oh, wait. It needs a stand to stand up?
Yep. Yes, it does.
What the hell is even that? All right, Zero, you have feelings about this. What are they?
Oh, I have feelings. I think it's hilarious. When I read this, I didn't read this article, this particular one, but I have read other articles and seen a lot of people whinging about it on fucking X or Twitter, whatever the fuck we're calling it this week. But it cracks me up that there are people out there who are going to spend $700 on a PS5 Pro that, by the way, has no first-party games. It is not. They have announced 0 games that are specifically for the PS5 Pro. They have announced a whole bunch of remakes and remasters that will play better on the PS5 Pro.
All right, well, that's not nothing.
But they are not. It's not. It's like, oh, they're remasters that will play better and look better. So fucking what? I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay, sorry, just briefly. I saw a meme, which is not a source of news, but you are. So, the meme was from a Spider-Man movie. It was James Franco saying, I'm ruined! I have nothing left! except Spider-Man. And the meme is that, Sony's got like fucking nothing. All the studios were bought up by Microsoft or competitors, and yeah, Sony's got basically jack shit. Do they really not have any? How many properties have come out that are PlayStation exclusives this year, last year? Doesn't matter. I don't. I don't really know of any. But yeah, if you could, yeah, that'd be great. I'm sorry, I'm putting you on the spot.
No, you're fine. Okay, so PlayStation console exclusives. Last of Us Part 1. I'm only gonna name big titles. So,
is this like this? How long does this cover? How many years?
I don't know. I'm just looking at the list on PlayStation's website. There's a star. What is the star for? Anyway, Last of Us Part 1, God of War Ragnarok, Valkyrie Elysium, Inscription, Stray, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, Gran Turismo 7, Ghostwire Tokyo, Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection, Horizon Forbidden West, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Neo, the Neo Collection, Last of Us Part 2, God of War 3 Remastered, Death Stranding,
Yeah,
Horizon Zero Dawn.
I know a lot of these games. I recognize a lot of these games from 2023 and 2022 and 2020. I think God of War Ragnarok is almost 5 years old. Is that so?
Is it? It just got released on Steam. Like, literally just got released.
Yeah, you're told. Let's see. God of War Ragnarok on Steam. Yeah, it's a 2022.
God, that's 2 years old. Holy shit.
Yeah, 2022 game. But yeah, you're right. It's things are coming to Steam now from both the Sony and the Microsoft markets. So,
hang on, PS5 Pro.
Where I was going with this is that Sony doesn't seem like it's. If they're in a good spot, then I'm not reading about it in any news articles. It seems more like they're dealing with flops like Concord just tanked last week, the week before. That game that you can't buy anymore that everybody got refunded for. Sony seems like they're having a bad year.
I mean, they really are. And then, they're touting that this thing runs at 60 FPS, but running at 60 FPS, it's only running at 840p.
Oh.
Yeah.
I missed that.
It's not even running in 1080. It's running in 840, and that's Alan Wake 2. That is a relatively new game.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna tout that this thing has an upgraded GPU, it needs to run something better.
I mean, okay, it's not that the GPU market has crashed in price, because like between $800 and $1,000 for a GPU is still very expensive. It's that the latest generation of GPUs, maybe not the top of the line models, but a bunch of the just mid-range models of the latest GPUs are as expensive as a GTX 1080 Ti, which is very much older.
Yeah.
So,
well,
I mean, you want to tout a better GPU? I mean, I'm all for it. And $700, maybe that's an extremely reasonable price for a gaming platform, but you might be able to build better than that if you're making a PC.
Well, okay, so in one of the other Discord servers, we were talking about this, and somebody actually went and priced out a PC that you can build that would match the specs on the PS5 Pro, and we were able to build it for $600.
And it was not Linus Tech Tips.
No,
So that's
we were
actually
able
credible.
to build it for $600 using
Amazon.com.
yeah, Amazon. But there's an article that I just found. GTA 6 is by far the biggest reason to buy a PS5 Pro. Why?
Because
Why?
Rockstar always releases for console first.
Well, and I agree, but why do you need a $700 piece of plastic to play
So that you can,
a new game?
So that you can get the juiciest 840p graphics.
Right.
You're playing GTA 6. That's rumored to cost $100 for the base model. Yeah. It's gone down though. People were saying it was going to be 130. Like 2 years ago, people were like, "It's going to be $130 for the base game," and now it's down to $100. I call that an absolute win.
Yeah, here we go. PlayStation blog. Upgraded GPU. We are upgrading the GPU that has 67% more compute units than the current PS5 and 28% faster memory. Overall, it enables up to a 45% faster rendering for gameplay, making the experience much smoother. Okay. Advanced ray tracing. Okay.
That's neat.
AI-driven upscaling.
Okay.
Okay.
That's-
Somebody said that it was that it's going to be able to run an 8K, and I was talking about it with a buddy of mine and at work, one of our IT guy, and he was like, he goes, unless you've got a 65-inch plus TV, 8K is useless.
I don't think that there is actually 8K.
There isn't.
This is one of those things where like years ago, GPU manufacturers were saying like we're 4K ready. We're ready for the next generation of gaming. It's like 4K, and there isn't. I don't. 4K may exist today. I don't know. I haven't been paying attention, but at the time there was no such thing as 4K. So when I read about the and shit, half the monitors that I look at on Newegg are like max 2K, and okay, fine. If you want to pay $1,200 for a monitor from probably a real good company, you might be able to get resolution up to 4K. I'm just not sure how practical that is in gaming, because it seems like a real niche market. That's one of those things where, like, you're a streamer, you want a really impressive rig, so you just deck it out and you advertise it on your channel. You're like, hey, I got this beast of a rig. All right, I get that. But that's not a large market.
Right. And like this says here, play at 60 FPS or up to 120 FPS with 4K output and ray tracing for compatible games. Okay.
Sure. All right.
That's fine and dandy, but if we're going at 120 frames per second, what's the resolution? What is it? Okay, you're touting 120 frames per second. I can get that on my current setup. Granted, my current setup blows a PS5 Pro out of the water.
Oh yeah, my old computer that isn't rated to play the new Warhammer game can get 120 frames per second easy on SimCity 3000 Unlimited.
Right.
Right. But yeah, the resolution is going to be 1080p.
Yeah, this thing sits on its side unless you buy a vertical stand.
That's fun. Why do people even need optical drives anymore? You've got the PlayStation Network. And you've got 1 terabyte of memory inside of that PS5 Pro, right? 1 terabyte. 2 terabytes. 2 terabytes. That's basically 10 AAA games.
Oh, hang on. There's a star next to this. Hang on.
2 is the upgraded mod. I bet you have to pay extra for 2 terabytes.
A portion of the SSD is reserved for the system software and other functions, so available SSD capacity may vary.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, that's a little bit of space. Windows doesn't take up not but a 60 gigabytes
Yeah.
if you really get really super fancy with it. So I bet whatever platform PlayStation is running on is super efficient, and Sony really cares about. I'm bored. Moving on.
And I think the big thing, and what a lot of people have said is, you're giving us a PS5 Pro, yet we don't have backwards compatibility for all games on the current generation PlayStation 5. We don't have backwards compatibility all the way back to to the original PlayStation.
Hey, you know what is what's gonna satisfy those, or sorry, you know what's gonna shut those gamers up is all the hype for the PlayStation 6.
Yep. That's what Sony's hoping for, because Sony doesn't care about their, well, I mean, what company does, but Sony really doesn't care about their people, the people who support them and have supported them for years.
Do we have an article this week about what's going on with Ubisoft? I don't think we do.
I don't think we do.
Did you guys hear what's going on with Ubisoft?
No, I have not heard.
All right, so Ubisoft's share price is tanking. It has been. It's been in a steady decline since, I think, 2022, and it's just sort of, it peaked during COVID, and now the share prices are going down, and it's bad. Like, it's restructuring bad. And one of the things that Ubisoft is banking on, but is probably not going to go terribly well, is the Assassin's Creed Shadow game that's due out. I don't know if it's this month or next month. Pre-sale. They're nervous about that release, and this is coming from, I don't know, whatever fucking gaming site that I was reading on. And the rumor around why they're nervous about it is because pre-sales are not what they should be. They're not seeing the numbers that they want, so that game might not perform as well as expected. So they have a minority shareholder who, and this is what caught my attention, they have only been a shareholder for a few weeks. They've submitted a letter to the board, which is basically calling for Ubisoft to go private, whichever, go through a restructuring, start firing large numbers of people, start focusing on the games that your gamers, play and want to come back to. The letter goes on to say that Ubisoft as a company is dramatically undervalued because of mismanagement, essentially, and there are beloved properties like Assassin's Creed, like For Honor, like The Division, Wildlands, and the reason that those games are not doing well, the reason that the sales numbers of those games are not doing well is because Ubisoft as a company is not focused on giving gamers a good experience. They are focused on pleasing their shareholders. And that's a bit of a contradictory statement when they go on to say that... in addition to all that, they went on to say, I'm remembering this from the article that I read, they went on to say that they're meeting their quotas per quarter, like they're meeting the numbers that the shareholders want, so they are actually pleasing the shareholders, but for some reason it's a bad thing that they're interested in pleasing the shareholders because it's at the expense of the gamers. So there's a little bit of a triangle of illogic in there that I didn't exactly grasp onto. Maybe because I'm stupid and I just don't get it, but maybe because it's actually bullshit. So on the surface, this minority shareholder who submitted this letter seems to have a good point, and they seem to be prioritizing customers over shareholders, which, yeah, okay, fine. The reason that this sounds like shenanigans to me, because the majority shareholders of Ubisoft are the board, the two guys, or maybe the one guy at this point, who founded Ubisoft, and Tencent. Those are the two majority shareholders, and at every opportunity when Ubisoft stock becomes available, without fail, they grab it up. They gobble it up. They're grabbing it. as much as they can. The call for them to go private is obviously going to be to the benefit of any stockholders that there currently are, because they're going to need to get bought out. All right. But the rest of this, the restructuring, the firing employees, all the rest of that, and calling for the resignation of the CEO of Ubisoft, which the letter also did, seems almost like a power grab, almost like a power struggle inside there. So when I read the article, I really should have posted these in Cox, but when I read it, I was like, it seems like a good argument, but it doesn't seem like a genuine argument. It seems like somebody's trying to get something out of this, and they might be trying to get, like, control over some studios in Ubisoft, or Ubisoft as a whole. Maybe they're trying to push Tencent out of the picture. Maybe they're trying, all this what if.
Right.
But that's what I was getting from the article. Essentially, just to summarize all that, Ubisoft's stock is shit. A minority shareholder is calling for the resignation of their CEO and a restructuring of Ubisoft, or to take the company private. And I don't think that I don't think that they're acting in good faith. Put it that way.
Well, okay, so let's you mentioned a lot of different games there that were beloved by the community, but Ubisoft didn't do shit with.
No, they bugged them. They released them too early. They didn't do enough patches. They were glitchy and shit. I'd love to play For Honor. Honestly, I would. But it's a fucking bugged out game, and by the time they fixed enough of it, there weren't many people playing it anymore. So,
let's look at Rainbow Six Extraction.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That game was great. It was fun, and it could have been more fun. But guess what? Ubisoft stopped development. They just abandoned it.
Yeah.
And that game had so much potential. They could have made hand over fist money with that game. But they just stopped because there wasn't enough money in it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we've spoken about it. And I don't think that's exclusive to Ubisoft. It's every AAA company is more interested in making money these days than they are in making good games. Which is why we keep on turning to independent studios for good games, because they consistently put them out. Frostpunk 2, by the way, coming out later this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I shared something about that. There's some interesting updates on how the game's going to work.
Yes, there is actually. There's an article. I'll put this up on screen. There was a lot. I did not particularly enjoy reading this article because this is the CEO of the company giving a really softballed interview. And there was a lot of corporate speak in here. But in between all that, and before it, yeah, we got some details of how the game is going to work. You're not building individual houses anymore. You're building districts. You're not measuring time in days anymore. There are just periods of time that go by, seasons, if you will. And it looks like, to me, what I got out of this, was that 11-bit is moving away from a small, micromanaged city of a maximum of 800 people to a much more comprehensive city builder type game. So that's what I got out of this. What did you get out of it, Omega?
Yeah, it was Frostpunk 1 was a city builder in micro. This is going to be a city builder in the macro. Taking a step back, I think. So, I mean, it's still going to include the same sort of social dynamics, because that's really the hallmark of what makes Frostpunk so interesting is the social shit. So that's going to be preserved, of course. It will be different, no doubt, but it'll be there.
Making tough decisions and facing the consequences of the decisions, is a hallmark of Frostpunk. The other thing that's what the hell was his name? Oh, Jacob Stokalski? Stokalski, okay. I'm Polish. I should be fucking able to pronounce these names.
Dude, I'm Polish too. That shit's gibberish.
All I know is Bober. So the other thing that Jacob teased in this was Twitch integration with Frostpunk, which leaves a bad taste in my mouth for whatever reason. I mean, I know it's not bad. I know it's not bad. It's not a huge deal. But there's something about that thinking that I don't like. I genuinely wonder how Twitch integration with Frostpunk would work anyway. It's like you have your Twitch viewers vote on which policy to pass.
I mean, all sorts of stuff. Policies to pass, events to cause to happen. Yeah, that's usually what it is. It's both stuff to make decisions for streamers, but also stuff to fuck with the streamers. So whatever events that can happen, whatever like random weather events or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm sure there will be some mechanism for viewers to trigger that. Which, hey, I mean, that sounds like fun shenanigans to me. I'm all for it.
Yeah, as I said, there's nothing inherently bad with that, and it's not like it's mandatory. I hope there's an option to just turn that on or off. You have to link your Twitch to it anyway, so you can just not do that. So yeah, I know it's not bad. I just don't know why I don't like that.
Because you're a cranky old man.
Yeah, probably. But yeah. Anyway, Frostpunk 2 coming out. Independent developers really give a shit. Also, yeah, speaking of independent, well, not independent, but smaller studios that are capable of putting out really phenomenal products. Stray was an absolutely fantastic game. And noted dog food company Annapurna has lost their game division because the 25 people that worked for them in their gaming division called Annapurna Interactive resigned. They collectively resigned because
the entire game studio resigned.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. So the reason for this?
I mean, the article gets into it. I'm not entirely sure. I've seen a lot of articles that were going on, and I mean, it was a lot of things, cutbacks. Well, they were trying to. I believe they were trying to basically divest and become an independent studio, and the company refused. So then they're like, "All right, we all quit."
Yeah, okay, you're right. So Bloomberg reported that the entire staff of Annapurna Interactive had resigned after failing to convince Ellison, the gaming division manager of Annapurna, after failing to convince him to let them spin off its games division into a new company. So Annapurna said no, and then all 25 members collectively resigned. So now they're free to start their own company. There was another...
Yeah. Pretty impressive power move. The problem is, now they have to build a company from scratch.
Yeah, it's ambitious.
Though, I mean, every time we hear a story about, this indie developer got bought up by, mega conglomerate developer or publisher company, and then they shut down that studio. I always feel like why don't they just go back to being an independent studio? But that's the shitty thing about these kind of acquisitions and mergers is that the company that bought you and then shut you down owns your name. They own the name of the company. They own all that IP. So you can start over, even if you have the exact same people, but you got to come up with a brand new name and start a brand new company. And start from scratch with brand new IP.
There is a solution to that problem, and it's called an ironclad non-compete clause. Sorry. It's funny. It's funny to me. Which I don't know if anything like that exists in here, but I mean, a collective resignation, I've got to assume that they didn't. They said that it was, the 25 people that resigned said that it was a decision they did not make lightly, but I have to wonder, does this mean that they can immediately start up their own studio and start producing games again, or did they actually have a non-compete clause with Annapurna? Dude, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, non-competes are interesting thing right now, because like in some places they aren't even enforceable anymore, and it's gotten interesting in that realm.
There's a little blurb in the middle of this article about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Remember that game?
Vaguely.
Please play our game. We know it botched. We know it's shitty. Oh, man. Anyway. Yeah, so that's the developer of Stray. They also did What Remains of Edith Finch on here, which was another critically acclaimed game. Neon White and Donut Country. I don't know much about either of those. Donut County, excuse me. But yeah. That was rough. That was a rough week for Annapurna. Whatever will that wildly successful company do?
Well, I mean, let me keep my eye out and see what the next... Yeah, because like I said, there have been more and more articles coming out about it. It's not just a one and done thing, so we'll see if there's any developments and bring it back up later.
Yeah, thank you. I do expect this to be a saga. Because, not just because of the attention that's getting paid to those 25 people, but because they are responsible for some critically acclaimed games that are pretty well known. Stray and Edith Finch, I think, are pretty well known.
I don't know Edith Finch, but Stray was pretty great.
I think Edith Finch was a horror narrative. So you're walking around in a house trying to discover a story, if I remember correctly. I remember that it had a delightful texture to it. I really did appreciate the atmosphere of the game. But beyond that...
It's not the kind of game that I would play, but it's I guess the kind of game I would watch you play.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's the kind of game that I would watch somebody else play because I suck at horror games. I'm a big scaredy cat. I scream at everything. I scream like the robot devil in Futurama.
It's not that I don't like horror games, but I don't like that type of gameplay. So I'll play other horror games. But,
one game that I would have liked to watch you play was a Devolver Digital game where you were the science experiment gone wrong and you broke out and you ate people and absorbed them to grow and alter like your skills and shit. I remember we talked about this on podcast and it looked... The visual style looked like something that might be appealing to you because it was dark horror and it was kind of Diablo 2 graphic-esque. But it was a side-scroller. It did look like fun. Not a game that I would play, but a game that I would watch you play. Yeah. There was another article that got posted up here about Microsoft's RecycleBot. RecycleBot.
Yeah, I thought you might like that.
Microsoft's RecycleBot uses machine learning and computer vision to open and recycle 90% of hard drive components. Not when I'm done with hard drives. But this is pretty cool. This is, recycling tech is pretty important. There are a lot of components to it that are not terribly easy to recycle, but if you can figure out how to do it, then great. I'm all for it. Recycle metal as much as you fucking want. It's way better than mining more of it. This is interesting. So yeah, appreciate it. Ooh, what's the best SSD for gaming?
SSD's nuts.
That's
That's a 3-pointer.
Got him.
Oh, boy. Oh, I like this article. It gets right to it in the second paragraph. The best SSD for gaming on the market is currently the Western Digital Black SN850X. It's got a great blend of performance and affordability that's perfect for PC gaming. However, when it comes to affordability, we're also big fans of the supremely good value and lightning-fast Lexar NM790, which is our current top recommendation for the best budget gaming SSD. Please sponsor us, Western Digital. Or Lexar. Both good. I'd love some free NVMEs. Yeah, that was nice. That was a nice deterrent.
You know, Power Wash Simulator is actually kind of a fun game.
Yeah, it is. You said you were playing WoW, you liar.
I stopped playing WoW because I didn't want to.
Who goes into... Okay, alright, fine. Who opens up WoW and plays it for 10 minutes and is like, alright, I've done everything I need to do in this game. Fucking, I couldn't not play Lost Ark for at least 2 hours a day when I was still playing that dog shit game. So that's how long it took me to do my dailies. God, I love power washing. I closed the other Kotaku article that you posted, Zero, about... it was about the PS Pro.
Yeah, fuck it.
It's Kotaku in general. I've been reading more and more, or I've noticed more and more in my Kotaku articles that they are just fucking dog shit. They're not... This is like... I don't want to accuse any gaming news site of having journalistic integrity, because I'm not... I mean, I'm dumb. I'm not that dumb. But Kotaku has just come around as a total fucking opinion piece. It's completely editorialized. It's like, yes, something did happen in gaming news. This is what I think about it. It's like, no, can we just have some facts, please? I just want to know some numbers. I want to know statistics.
In the words of Jesse Ventura, I'm just looking for the fiac.
Just looking for what?
Just looking for the fiac.
I still didn't get it.
Yeah, fiacs. You know, Jesse Ventura.
Oh!
He's a complete piece of shit.
He's got, yeah, okay, alright. I forgot that's how Jesse... Is he now Jesse the Mind Ventura?
I don't know, and I really don't care. He's a wackadoo.
Yeah, he's not a piece of shit, but he is crazy.
He's governor... Isn't he still governor or something?
No.
No,
He is crazy old Uncle Jesse.
Ah, that's a good time. Zero,
He's definitely crazy Uncle Jesse right now.
Finish cleaning the door. All of it. I want to hear the ding. There! Ugh! Oh, yeah, that's right. Do you have the Warhammer DLC for this?
I'm playing this on, as part of the free 3 months of Xbox Game Pass that I got.
Yeah, all right.
So
that's
no,
just
not
enough.
yet. But if honestly, if I enjoy this as much as I'm enjoying it now, I will be buying the full version of the game on Steam.
Oh yeah. There's fucking Warhammer DLC for Power Washing Simulator.
I just want a dreadnought operator to scream at me the entire time I'm cleaning the dreadnought.
Have you seen some of the cinematics with dreadnoughts from Space Marine 2?
God, yes, they look so good.
Yeah, they're large rage machines, which is very accurate, and I appreciate that. Also, they give zero fucks about. There's this one thing that happens early on in the game, so it's not really a spoiler. Large battle. And there's a giant. I'm not gonna not spoilers. There's this giant thing that flies, and it's just like, hey, look at me up here. I'm gonna shoot. I'm gonna basically take pot shots at you from afar. And this dreadnought's just like, nope. Picks up a statue and fucking hurls it at the bitch. So yeah, you don't have any ranged weapons? I've got rocks. It's a good game. I've been told. I haven't played it yet. I'm gonna try.
You're gonna have to upgrade your PC.
Nah, I mean, they put that shit on the Steam store, but I'm just gonna install it as is and see if my 5th generation i7 can handle it.
I've played a good handful of games here or there when I was out of spec. Still works.
Don't you have a 13th gen i3?
No.
Oh no.
11th gen? I remember you talked about it when you got it because you got a super good deal on it at the store.
Yeah, it's what is it? Yeah. Is it this one?
Keep going, Zero. I'm almost there.
i7 7700K, I believe.
All right. Okay. It's a 7th gen. That's still good. I say that. I'm not displeased with my processor at all. It still rips and tears. But yeah, Zero, this article that you posted about Final Fantasy 16. Please don't post obscene mods. Don't make inappropriate mods for Final Fantasy 16.
Apparently, this is that person's first day on the internet.
Yeah, fucking do it. It's gonna happen. If it doesn't make it to Nexus mods, it'll make it to Lover's Lab.
Which I'm gonna start the download for patch number 7 for Baldur's Gate tonight when I go to bed.
Shit. Is there another patch?
Yeah, patch 7 integrated mod support.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Man, I need more time to play video games. If I had time to play video games, I'd play more Baldur's Gate. That was a good game. Game made with love. Game made with passion. About people who were concerned about making a good game. A game that they would want to play. That stone didn't ding! There it is. All right. Good. Good.
Am I winning, Dad?
You're doing pretty good, son. Just gonna turn that down. And then there was another... Oh, for crying out loud. Yeah, it was this article. Watch Dogs movie has finished filming. Probably can't do worse than the Borderlands movie. That sounds like a challenge.
That does sound like a challenge. When I saw that, the whole reason I posted that was because it said probably can't do worse.
Yeah, that's a cursed headline.
It will happen. We need to stop. We don't need to. Hollywood needs to stop making video game movies, please. Just don't.
No, I don't even think that's the answer. I think we just need to stop trying to make them palatable to the larger public. Just fucking make it for the fans of those video games. You'll make a ton of money, and you don't have to try and make a movie that's pretending to be something that it's not.
That is the least capitalistic thing I think I've ever heard you say. Don't make it appeal to a broader audience? Well then, how are you going to make way more money than you deserve?
Well, there's money to be made in catering to a specific audience as well.
Yes, but it's about making more. You always have to make more. You have to expand your audience. Oh my god, I fucking hate this shit show rhetoric that we have. Welcome to late stage capitalism, folks. It's a shit show.
I don't know, maybe the video game movie doesn't have to have a $300 million budget. Maybe it can be a little bit of a smaller budget.
And that's the other thing when these movies come out, is that's a lot of money. Let's see. Oh, that's the fun part of the article that I saw here. As we said back when it was confirmed with the video, as we said back when it was confirmed that a movie based on Watch Dogs was happening, we're not sure we want one. Yeah, I agree. That's not a great sign when even the fan base is just like, because that guarantees that your movie is not going to be faithful to the game. It is going to be targeted at a larger audience because they know that the fans of Watch Dogs are probably not too enthused about watching a movie. Problem also is that they keep targeting these modern games. All right, Minecraft, I understand. I'm sure there's lore behind Minecraft, and I'm sure that I don't know, MatPat is probably like really on top of that, or somebody.
No, that's no, he does
Five Nights at Freddy's.
And he
Is that
retired.
Oh well, good for him. I mean, he's got a specialty and he nailed
retired.
It. Good, good for him. I hope he accomplished everything that he wanted to. The more modern video games that are getting movies based off of them are more like a cinematic experience. There are very few exceptions where a translation from a video game to a visual media has gone well. As a matter of fact, I can count on one hand. Most recently, The Last of Us did very well as a show, and Fallout did very well as a show. The rest,
great.
Borderlands just flopped. I'm sure there are other movies based on video games that I have just put out of my mind because they were trash. Witcher started off pretty strong and then quickly went downhill to the point where Cavill quit. So you're competing. Basically, what I'm trying to get at here is if you're making a movie based off a video game property, you are competing against a video game that was interactive that fans really enjoyed. A video game is arguably these days more intricate, not in terms of like creating it, but in terms of playing it and comprehending it and experiencing it. It's more complicated than going to a movie. So you feel more rewarded when you're like in a video game and you're getting loot, or you're uncovering story, or you have a cinematic, or you do some shit. It's you're playing the game, whereas a movie, it's always passive. Active engagement versus passive engagement. There you go. That's the way to sum it up.
I don't know. I feel like the bigger problem is that, video games are based upon an established lore. And they try too hard, like, rather than just banking on the fans knowing the lore, they have to try and basically reteach all the lore or simplify and retool the lore. And that's what ends up pissing off fans of things, is when they change the lore rather than just like allowing it to be what it is, I guess you could say.
That's interesting. I hadn't really thought about it that way. I guess you're right that, like, see, when you said that, what popped into my mind was the Aliens movies. Like, okay, so Alien, nobody has any idea what's going on going into that movie. That movie teaches us about the xenomorph. Okay, neat. Aliens, the next movie, it has that one scene where Ripley's trying to tell the Space Marines, like, what's going on here, the Colonial Defense Force, whatever they're called. But the rest of it is, like, kind of new. We're learning new things about the aliens. There's new lore being written here, and that. Fast forward down the line to Alien vs. Predator. Every single fucking Alien vs. Predator movie has that, like, sometimes it's over an hour of people trying to figure out what's a xenomorph, what are these face huggers, how are all these aliens getting here, and we, the audience, already know the lore, and I'm annoyed. I don't need to see that again. You're watching Alien versus Predator. Have you never seen a fucking Alien movie anymore? What are you expecting to get out of this?
Yeah, like if you're going to an Alien versus Predator movie and you haven't seen the Aliens movies and or the Predator movies yet, like what are you even doing?
You're out of order. You're going out of order here. Start
So
from the
it's
very
like-
beginning.
So how about they make a Borderlands game for people who have played the Borderlands games? Like
Exactly.
That's an interesting idea, isn't that? Wouldn't that be an interesting idea if they actually made a video game for fans of the video game?
I don't know. I've heard that people who play video games don't like movies, so you probably no one would go to see it.
So I mean, so let's be fair. Let's be fair. When they cast Ben Affleck as Batman and didn't give him a backstory, people shit on it.
They did? I heard nothing
Oh
of
my
that.
God.
He showed. See, that was one of the things that I didn't mind. I didn't even notice, honestly, about Zack Snyder's whatever Justice League or whatever movie he first showed up in. It's like, oh, there's Batman. Yep, we know Batman. Marvel did that too with the first fucking Spider-Man movie. How many times have we seen Uncle Ben die? And Marvel was just like, nope, everybody knows that. He's Spider-Man. This is Spider-Man. This is a Spider-Man movie.
Okay, so and made this joke the other day with a friend of mine. He's like, why is it that characters can continually come back and back and back and back? I said, because there's a rule. There's a rule in Marvel. No death is permanent unless your name is Uncle Ben. In which case, death is always permanent. Uncle Ben is the only character in the Marvel lore that is permanently dead. That's it. He dead.
Well, but wasn't his death? Isn't that also because his death is part of backstory?
Yeah, that's why Sony kept it in all their Spider-Man remakes, because they were like, oh, but that's important. That's what makes Peter Parker realize that with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, it's not like how much Spider-Man was there before Uncle Ben dies?
0.
Exactly. So it's not that like Uncle Ben is a character who was in, the universe for a while and then he died and he's never being brought back. It's just that like
That's how the story starts. He dies.
That's the world that we're in, is that there is no like Uncle Ben is dead. That's
So,
the
yeah.
premise.
Yeah.
So what's the premise of your movie? The dead uncle. That's it.
So
Everything
yeah,
else is subject to change, but the dead uncle, that's the core.
they're doing the first Marvel Spider-Man movie, and they get like Martin Sheen to play Uncle Ben, and he shows up day one, and he's just like, all right, what's my character? And they're like, basically, you're dead. It's like, great, I go home. Thanks for my $3 million. Oh, that'd be great. You have to spray underneath the table, too?
Yes.
God damn.
You gotta get the undercarriage.
I mean,
You gotta get the are stalactites the ones that hang off the
yes.
Yes.
Stalactite
They
is
have the
top.
T.
T for top.
so you gotta get the cum stalactites off the bottom of the table.
Oh, is that what it does?
Wait, is this outside? I thought, or were you cleaning an office desk?
Is that what keeps poking me?
Outside. We are outside.
Okay. Probably not. If you were cleaning an office desk, then maybe.
No, he's cleaning an outside table, and it's got cum stalactites all over it. And it's just like, yeah, whoever is jacking off out in their backyard, they have life all figured out. They fear no man.
What's the point of having property if you don't jerk off in it?
Oh yeah, more than a couple times when everybody's been out of the house and I'm just, I'm home alone. Yeah, I've stripped full naked and walked the dogs outside. Traumatized the neighbors.
That's indecent exposure. Don't look.
No,
It's
holy.
only indecent exposure if you look.
There was, I forget when this was. This might have been like over a decade ago, but there was a story. I have a small town, so when like a crime happens in this town, everybody fucking knows about it. There was this one house with this group of people. I don't know, maybe they were like, they lived there, but their parents were out of town, or maybe they were just like delinquents and they have decided to throw like a week-long party. But they weren't making noise or anything, but they had huge bay windows facing the road, and they were like 50 feet back from the road. They were walking around naked, they were having sex in front of the window, they were doing drugs in front of the window, and like the cops were sitting out there because they got complaints from the neighbors who were looking at this. The cops couldn't do shit because it was happening in their home, on their property. They weren't technically breaking any laws, and that blew my fucking mind. Eventually, they made some mistake and they got arrested, but
that might depend on jurisdiction, because I know that if like it's visible in public, it can still be considered, indecent public.
Yeah.
Indecent public.
That might have been my thinking too. But yeah, this was I was much younger, and this was town gossip, and I thought that was funny.
Like, you can't just stand in your front window by a sidewalk, with the film on display as
Free ball on
children
it.
go home from school.
Oh god, what's that called? Oh yeah, hanging brain, like right in front of your window, while little old ladies are trying to walk to the grocery store. Yeah, no. You're walking, you're completely naked with your dick hanging out, eating a sun pop. You're like, oh, hi, Mrs. Thurbador.
Thurbador. Good made up name. Love it.
Hi, Mrs. Omapopoulos. Thanks for those stuffed grape leaves the other day. Those were really great.
I love how Doc has built out this whole story that quickly.
Yeah.
It's a whole fanfic.
Yeah. It does not take very long for my brain to just go too far. Oh, man. Anyway, it's about that time. Wait, do I have any more? Former Bungie lawyer says the studio's management failure led to Sony forcing them to get their heads out of their asses.
Yep.
What was this about?
I just saw that article. I didn't read it, but I thought the headline was funny.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't surprise me that
this from Bungie.
That a lawyer told fucking Bungie to get their heads out of their asses. That doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. Alright, yeah, so that's about it. I mean, call it. It's about time for me to go walk my dogs. Oof. Alright. So thank you, everybody, for coming along. That's the end of the podcast. Go to bed. Go outside. Stare at the moon. Stare at Saturn. It's right by the moon. It's creeping out around the moon. It's a good time.
Yeah, just, don't go outside and stare at Uranus.
Do that. Yeah, no. Get full naked. Go, red dragon yourself, Full naked in the moonlight. And we'll be back same time, same place next week. Penis. Fuck Winnie the Pooh. Fuck, Putin. Fuck Vince. Fuck Elon.
Tips.
Fuck Linus Tech Tips. Fuck Nestle. Fuck Hershey's. And, yep, penis.